It was a typical, boring Friday in calculus, 7th period. The weekend was almost here, and spring break was just around the corner. You could feel the restless energy in the room, students shifting in their seats, tapping pencils, whispering about their plans. Unlike other classes, where students groaned about tests, our teacher was chill. He wasn't the kind to pile on extra work. Instead, midway through the lesson, he shrugged and said, "All right, let's play a game." He pulled up a brand logo quiz on sporkle.com, and suddenly the room came alive. Laughter, friendly competition. It was one of those rare moments where class actually felt fun, and then the intercom crackled to life. At first, I barely registered it, just background noise. But the second our dean's voice boomed through the speaker, every hair on my body stood up. "This is not a drill. Teachers, lockdown. Now." A chill ran down my spine. Our usually laid-back teacher, his face drained of color. In an instant, he was across the room, flipping the lights off, motioning us to the back corner. Silence. The only sound was the nervous breathing of 30 students packed together. Then, the electronic hum from the back panel of the room cut out. The power was gone. That's when we heard it, a blood-curdling scream. It echoed down the hallway, a man's voice raw and filled with rage. 2 girls next to me started crying, their whimpers barely muffled behind trembling hands. I could feel my own heart hammering in my chest as the screaming got closer. Then, the sound of metal rattling. The man was slamming his fists against the lockers. "I'll kill all of you," he shrieked. I felt my stomach drop. This was real. This wasn't some prank. This wasn't some student losing their temper. This was someone truly unhinged. The banging got louder, closer, until suddenly it wasn't just the lockers anymore. It was our classroom door. "Open up," he screamed, his fists hammering against the wood. And then, one of the crying girls lost control. She screamed. A fatal mistake. The man went berserk. He started pounding the door with everything he had, like an animal trying to break in. We stopped, breathing. We sat there, frozen, waiting for the door to fly open, waiting for something worse. Then, after what felt like an eternity, the banging stopped, the screaming faded. He was moving down the hallway. Even then, no one moved. No one even dared to whisper. We waited, and waited. And then, 10 minutes later, though it felt like a lifetime, the dean's voice returned. He explained in a tone that tried too hard to sound calm that a mentally unstable man had walked into the school and attacked the woman at the front desk. She had barely escaped, running for help. The teachers had done a sweep. They couldn't find him. We were told to resume class but keep the doors locked. No one in, no one out. It was over. Or so we thought. That night, one of the janitors found something horrifying. Tucked away in a storage closet near the back of the school, he found a man sleeping, and in his pocket, a .44 Magnum. The janitor must have made a mistake, maybe left the door open too long, because by the time security arrived, the man was gone. To this day, none of us know if he was ever caught. I just hope wherever he is, he's getting the help he desperately needs, or at the very least, that he never comes back. Tea started as a typical rainy October afternoon. The sky was overcast, the kind of weather that makes everything feel heavier. At my school, lunch was split into 2 periods. The first for 6th graders and some 7th graders, the second for the rest of the 7th graders and all 8th graders. I was in the first lunch period sitting with my friends, half listening to a conversation when a loud, thunderous bang shook the air, then another and another. I froze. Was that thunder? But before I could even process it, the cafeteria erupted in screams. Students were panicking, shoving their trays, sprinting in random directions. At first, I thought they were overreacting, but then campus security stormed in. Everyone inside. "Now!" one of them barked. Students in the lunch line were forced to throw away their food. Trays clattered, milk cartons splashed onto the floor. Nobody complained. We all rushed into the multi-purpose room, the school's largest enclosed space. I barely had time to breathe before I noticed something that made my stomach drop. The back wall of the room was made of glass, and outside, past the rain-speckled windows, someone was watching us. A stranger. Outside, campus security yanked the curtains shut while teachers guarded every exit. Something was wrong. "Eric, go ask what's going on," one of my friends whispered. Eric, always the fearless one, walked up to a teacher. He came back looking pale. "You know the houses near TMS?" he whispered. We nodded. "A guy from one of those houses. He's armed. He threatened to kill the cops if they tried to evict him, and..." Eric hesitated. "He's been watching kids, just staring at them." A sickening chill went through me. A man watching us, and now he was right outside. That's when Eric dropped the worst news of all. "He's a registered sex offender," the writing on the window. We were trapped in that room for over an hour. No one spoke. No one laughed. Every noise felt deafening. Every second stretched longer than it should have. Finally, the lockdown ended. Security escorted us one by one back to our classrooms. But for some of us, the nightmare didn't end there. That night, I called my friend Brandy, who lived near the school. She answered, shaken. "I know that guy," she whispered. I gripped the phone tighter. "What do you mean?" Brandy took a deep breath. "Last Halloween, I saw him in his window, cutting his arm. He was writing something in his own blood." My body went ice cold. "Writing what?" Brandy paused. Then, in a shaky voice, she answered, "Don't come here or I'll kill you." I got the job at my old high school because my former computer teachers adored me. They weren't just teachers, they were friends. They helped me land this role as a computer intern in the school basement, and for the most part, it had been great until a few weeks ago. That day, my coworkers, David and Josh, weren't in the office. They were upstairs, probably dealing with paperwork. I was alone, enjoying my sandwich during lunch break when my phone rang. It was one of the front office staff. Her voice was tense. "The school's on lockdown. Someone, possibly armed, is inside." Heart dropped. There wasn't much I could do. The basement had no working locks. The small office I worked in didn't even have a proper door, just an open entrance. For my own safety, I turned off the lights, dimmed my computer screen, and sat in the dark. I grabbed my phone and texted David and Josh. No response. For 20 minutes, I sat there waiting for a call telling me it was safe. I had no idea what was happening upstairs. Then, the basement door creaked open. The sound echoed through the room. Footsteps followed. Fast ones. Running. I froze. Should I call out for David and Josh? But something felt off. I pushed my chair back and crawled under my desk. Someone entered my office. They didn't turn on the lights. Silence. I held my breath, every second stretching into eternity. Then, a text message. I felt my world collapse. The footsteps in the room stopped. Whoever was there heard my phone. I clenched my teeth in fear as the footsteps moved closer. My body was shaking. I knew if I stayed hidden, I might never leave that basement alive. I took a deep breath, pushed myself out from under the desk, and begged, "Please, please don't kill me." The man grabbed my arm and yanked me up. He was wearing a red plaid button-up jeans and a reddish-black cap. "It's okay," he whispered. "I'm just hiding down here too. What's going on upstairs?" Something felt wrong. His voice was too calm, too rehearsed. I hesitated before asking, "Who are you?" A brief pause, then he said, "I was here to pick up my son. A teacher told me to hide." But as he spoke, I checked my phone. The text message that had nearly gotten me killed, it was from David, and it said, "Dude, this is effing crazy. Some guy with a gun shot Mr. Buckley. He's wearing a red shirt and a hat. Whatever you do, do not come upstairs. My blood turned to ice. I looked up at the man in the red plaid shirt. He saw my expression change. He knew. I bolted. A gunshot rang through the basement. The bullet ricocheted off something metal, but it missed me. I sprinted up the stairs, heart pounding, lungs burning. And when I reached the top, police were already there. The second the shooter opened the basement door, they took him down. Mr. Buckley survived the gunshot. Turns out he and the shooter had some personal history. No one knew exactly why the man snuck into the school armed, but I knew one thing. The sound of that gunshot will forever echo in my mind.